Hello everyone, this is Kathy from the Daily Marker. How are you today? Today I'm part of a blog hop to celebrate Neat and Tangled's birthday. Happy birthday! So I created 4 of these little shaped cards and I thought I would share the process. They're so adorable. They have the cutest little sentiments, or you can stamp an envelope on there or put the sentiment on that blank square. And this is the ink I use to stamp my little skunk. I'm using watercolors. I use this great distress bottle to prep my watercolor paints. These are Winsor Newton, I think. So I just want to go ahead and get started. I scored 4 of these on regular cardstock. They're scored to put on the back to make a shaped card so they'll stand up. They're so cute. It's such a fun celebratory set, and Neat and Tangled has come so far in their designs, and they're such an awesome company, and Danielle is she's the owner, and she's just fabulous and gorgeous. So I thought I'd watercolor these, and this is the first one I did, and it just wasn't coming out. In the end, it always comes out, but these watercolors are so rich. I kind of did it a lazy way. I should have had more of a wash. So my colors are a little too concentrated. So I know you guys like to watch me mess up or watch it, the process, because it doesn't always turn out great. So I'm just futzing around, mixing blue and brown and some black and gray. And the biggest mistake I made here was to add some color to the white. It's so hard for me to leave a white space. So this will go on super speed soon. And you can just watch how I wet my area and then I drop some color in. Thanks to Dawn from W+9 for teaching me that. And I'm just experimenting with different colors and just adding and playing around. I did include this in my little set. I just added that light gray, and that was the mistake there. But they're, like I said, in the end, they always turn out. They're cute. So I ended up just coloring these other ones off camera, and I wanted to show you how I'm going to generously wet the little signs that they're holding up and then drop some color in. I love this bright pink. Also, I have on my blog is another card that I made with one of the new dies from Neat and Tangled. It's gorgeous, a gorgeous die. And I watercolored the background. It's the best watercoloring I've ever done. And I kind of did it like I'm doing these little pieces here. So I hope you'll go and check that out. Also, I always like to give you a reminder, if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. It's just encouraging to me. Now back to this little piece. I'm just wetting it and then kind of pulling that color through the other colors. You have to be careful it doesn't muddy out or turn brown depending on what colors you're using. Now the watercolor panel I use that's on my blog, I dried each layer of color. And see, both of my waters are really dirty and I was too lazy to go change them. So I just used that spray bottle to spray some on my cutting board here. And my brush had some color on it. So, I just went with it. Sometimes you just got to go with it. So now I'm dropping in some pink here. And then I'll just use my brush to pull that down a little bit. And then I'll use some of the dirty water to blend that out. It's kind of a yellow dirty water, so. I forgot to mention the paper I'm using is Tim Holtz watercolor paper. I love it. They're pre-cut and they're nice and white. If I use something that's just slightly not white, I just go crazy. So I love this paper. Now I kept my, now this particular one, I have one color here, and I'm heating it, as you can see, before I add my next layer. And this is what I did for the other card that's in my blog. I'll show it at the end of this video too. So now I'm going to wet just certain areas on this little thing and drop in some orange. And you'll see what happens. Let's watch. Now, I like to use, I taped down just the little edge. I wanted to hold this firmly in place. So that's why you see the painter's tape, and keeping it where I die cut on that negative space really worked well. So I dropped that color in, and I'm just spreading it with a little bit more water. It's really fun just to play around with it and see where the color goes. 9 out of 10 times you'll like it, and if you don't, save it, because I'm telling you, you'll use it for something later, whether you're die cutting little hearts or stars, or use it on the inside of a card for a background. So always save those little scraps. Now I'm removing a little bit. There was too much orange in that corner, so I just wet my brush and lifted up some of that color. And then there's still quite a lot of orange, so I'm going to take a Kleenex, and I put this in slow-mo because I did it so fast. I didn't want you to miss it. So I'm picking up my Kleenex, and I'm going to dab some of that bright orange off. I want it to be a little bit more pink. So keep that in mind, how you can remove color when you're watercoloring. I'm sure you guys know that and you do it all the time, but it's a good reminder for me. And see, now I can kind of start over. I always like to say that watercoloring is so forgiving. So I'm going to finish just moving this color around, and then we're going to add some details. I'm going to use a Sharpie superfine marker, and I'm going to accent a few little things on this little guy, or all 4 of my little guys. I always like to drop in a little bit of rosy cheeks, which you can see it's very faint on this one. And then I'm going to color their noses, accent. They have beautiful little eyelids with 2 little eyelashes, so I'm going to bring that out. But before I do that, I want to stamp the sentiment on all of them, and I'm using some archival ink. I use Simon Says Stamp black ink too. You can use either or. Of course, there's a gazillion inks out there today, but I wanted this to be bold and black and sharp and crisp. Love these mini Misties. They're great. So nice not having to be able to line up a block. Money well spent. Saves you paper, time, energy, everything. Now here's my marker I was talking about. Always practice, check that tip on some scrap paper first, and then just go over the eyelids and the eyelashes. They're on there, but I stamped it in a light color, so I want those to pop. Now I'm drawing just a little edge on each corner. Not necessary, but for some reason it really makes the painting pop. Just like sometimes it's just those small little details. And I'm going to just, on his little hair, I just highlighted like a little area of that and kind of made the ends right there just kind of curl up a little bit more. But I just did on one side of each just to accent that. I didn't want to go around everything. A lot of times I like to go around everything, but this is no line watercoloring, so I didn't want to do that. Now I'm just going to add a little highlight on his nose. I always like to take my white gel pen and warm it up on my finger first, and then just draw a little like U shape, C shape. And now I'm just adding that scored, the scored cardstock I die cut for the back to hold up my card. These make great little shape cards. I'm using a bone folder just to press that glossy accents down to get a nice firm seal. And then there's my little card. Now if you feel like it rocks, it does stand up straight without, you can add a little bit of foam tape on the left side of it. And this is my little group of my little stinkers. This is a sneak peek of the other card. I have a few details on my blog about that. So hop on over to my blog and I'll have the supplies listed. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.